most of the standard like dietetics recommendation of, eat less, move more, everything in moderation, there's no moderation in that environment.
Right.
Like it doesn't exist. It's a hookers and cocaine experience. It's like these things spin the dopamine centers in the brain. They are addictive, and if we are surprised by that process at all or feel bad about it, it's kind of crazy. Like, it is not your fault if you find yourself entrapped in this world of hyperpalatable foods. And I don't suggest that people just roll over and expose their belly to the world and let the world have its way with you. And it's interesting because the folks that make these foods, they study neurophysiology, they study evolutionary biology, they study how to make things addictive. So whereas the people who are making these foods addictive, they fully get it, but they're using it in such a way that they're like, okay, here's our predilection to eat more and move less. Here's how we're going to make that happen. And we have these really interesting flavor combinations and different experiences. And if you aren't beating yourself up about the fact that this thing is a difficult process, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but we can do this if you eat less, move more, everything in moderation, everything in moderation, everything in moderation. If you do something, it is not your fault.
I've always found that if I'm eating something and it's really good, like a steak or something, and I'm stuffed, even if I don't want any more of the steak, if I have fries and I taste those salty fries, I'll start eating more fries. Like,
right.
When I know I'm full, why am I stuffing my fat face with these stupid fries?
It's that novelty. And from an evolutionary biology perspective, it's great wiring, it's great engineering, because we didn't have guaranteed food all the time.
Right.
Like you had to eat when you could get it, and then, you might go a long period of time without having that food. But now we're in this situation where you have infinite variety. There's 50,000 different food-like items in an average supermarket. It's 10 or 11,000 new food-type items that are released each year. They're engineered to be hyperpalatable, to bypass the neuroregulation of appetite. You have this situation where woven into our genetics is this process called palate fatigue, where even if we have a really tasty food in front of us, we will get bored of it, and then we'll want something else. And if you have that other thing, that something else immediately available, and it's different enough from the thing that you just got bored with, you can eat more in total, and it's just so interesting. And if you aren't beating yourself up about the fact that this thing is a difficult process, that's not necessarily going to be easy, but we can do this if you eat less, move more, everything in moderation, everything in moderation, everything in moderation. If you do something, it is not your fault.
I was at the supermarket the other day, and I was under the influence, and as I was wandering through the aisles, it was one of those weird moments where I went, is this always been like this? Like, I was just looking at this food that was like just filled with preservatives and canned, and these packages and plastic bags of it, and I was like, it's so strange that this is the prevalent food. You can eat it, it's food, kinda,
right,
but it's not really food.
Right.
The real food is on the edges.
Right.
The real food is where the vegetables are. That stuff in the middle in those aisles where you just these bright colored cans. It was so weird. It was like a little kid's toy store.
Right.
Trying to draw me in with smiley faces on the cans, right, and on the plastic bags. But unless you're going to a really good natural food store, you're probably inundated with that stuff.
If you aren't beating yourself up about the fact that this thing is a difficult process, that's not necessarily going to be easy, but we can do this if you eat less, move more, everything in moderation, everything in moderation, everything in moderation. And if you do something, it is not your fault.